Don't worry, I think I've finally found what you've been looking for your entire life. It's not a goal, it's not a purpose, it's actually a person. You've been searching your whole life for a TikTok account called Donut Daddy. I don't really know how to talk about this guy without just showing you. I just learned about him from Cody Ko's newest video, and I am blown away that this exists.
It's in the trench.
This is a particularly foul shot here of ripping the dough in a way that's supposed to be sexual, and then through it, you can kind of see him like wiggling his tongue out. Then we get like a blurry peek through the dough glory hole, and you can see him just doing this. It is so weird. It seems like a sequence, like a fever sequence you would have seen in Requiem for a Dream, just like snap by really quickly. So his whole page is about taking dessert making and turning it into softcore pornography. But I just don't see who would watch any of this and just start like fanning themselves like, oh, hubba hubba, whoa, that's so hot. It's just really uncomfortable. Like, this video starts with him shaking some milk like he's jerking off with it. It's so aggressive and so goofy. That was a textbook spank right there. He fucking winds that up and cranks it like that Nicolas Cage scene with the slap. Like, the dough butt cheek, I half expected to let out like an audible of its own, just from how great that spank was. I can't really imagine who's watching this super turned on, like on the edge of their seat, thinking to themselves, oh, goodness gracious. I wish I was that naughty glob of gluten being manhandled by the donut daddy right now. Gee whiz. Like, it's just so weird to be spanking dough. Though I will say, I actually have to give some props here. I think it's very creative of him to include his own moans in the video. You may have caught there for a moment that he just moans during this. He goes, ugh, at one point right there to heighten the sexual stimulation. I think he should lean into that more heavily. So he should start doing like dirty talk during these. He's plumping up the dough in front of him, then he just lets loose a really nice erotic line. Call me Homer Simpson, 'cause I'm about to dough. And then spanks it. For some reason, this portion is getting flagged for DMCA, so I gotta mute it. I'll give you a little beatboxing in the meantime. And now I'm gonna unmute it. There's a lot to take in there. So, you already knew it was coming, you know, playing with the thing like it's his wiener. You already knew that was on the docket. There was no way we were going to escape a Donut Daddy video without seeing him pretend something is his penis that he's rubbing oil on and buttering himself up or whatever. But what I really appreciate is when he's like dangling that shit and he's fucking slapping it back and forth like a speed bag in boxing. Like, that's not even hot or anything, that's just weird. It just looked like he had a giant cow's tongue that he was fucking beating the devil out of. This is another super common thing he does. Whenever he's mixing something, he like throws his head back in euphoria. And I don't even get it. Like, all you did was start mixing all of this shit together. I don't know what about that is like sexy or anything. Like, I don't get that at all. Like, the other stuff, he's pretending it's something sexual, so a big thing he does is finger every single fruit that he ever comes across. He just sticks his finger in there and starts wiggling it around a little bit. Like, I get what that's supposed to be, but not when it comes to, like, a mixing bowl or anything like that. He'll, like, shake something up and be like, ooh! You know, it just doesn't make sense. For a brief moment, let's set aside the wildly awful concept he's come up with here of turning baking into a pornographic production for single soccer moms that are going through a weird phase in their life on TikTok. The fact is, he's actually not bad at baking, it seems. When I was first cursed to learn about Donut Daddy Productions, I expected that he was going through this big song and dance, spanking dough, you know, beating his meat with a bottle of milk, all of that, and the dessert he was going to make was going to be something simple at the very end. Like, all of this leads up to him putting a Pop-Tart on a plate. But he actually makes some pretty decent looking dessert. It's not like the most exquisite shit imaginable you'd find at like a 5-star restaurant or anything. You know, it's not winning any Michelin stars, but it looks like it's fine. Like, I expected him to be so much worse. I wish he was worse at baking. Like, you go through all of this, and at the very end, what he sets down and shows off is like a bowl of chocolate ice cream. That would have made a lot more sense to me than him actually being pretty decent at making dessert. So I don't even understand why he bothers with this whole shtick of, like, I don't know, being as vascular as possible, and then, like, moaning while pretending everything's sexual. He fingers everything that even has a semblance of a hole to it. Like, he could probably just do normal baking videos and find pretty much the same level of success, I would bet. Sorry, Donut Daddy enthusiasts, I had to mute the audio on this one, but it probably doesn't matter because you can't even hear the video over the sound of you yourself moaning upon watching this incredible display of lunacy. So anyway, this is another one that he's put out there. This one's actually making donuts, which he doesn't do all that often. He makes just general desserts. Donuts seems to be one he doesn't make a ton of, but then again, I've only seen like his most recent works. I can't help but appreciate that he integrates new ways of being weird into it. So this one he goes with his signature move, the dough slap. But he actually true combos it into a sniff. So he goes slap and sniff, spanks it, and then comes right in to get a huff of its fumes. And then he immediately goes back to pretending something is his cock, and then fingering another fruit. And now this part has to get muted, because this also led to the video getting blocked, so here's a little more beatboxing. I was laughing so hard at this one, because it just comes out of the gate firing. It's immediately like, he buckles up, and then sets dragon fruit on the counter and just like motorboats it instantly right into the fingering combo where he like makes it like ooze some juice out and then squirts it. It is so wacky. I have to read the comments, actually. I haven't done that. Give me a second. I want to take a deep dive in the comments here and see what people are saying about it. Every single comment was talking about him assaulting the dragon fruit and like how odd it is to be doing this. I don't know what the target audience is. Maybe, like, he's doing this for people to roast him and clown on him, but I didn't see a single positive comment going like, now this is what I needed. Now I'm turned on. Make you cry like a baby, yo. Let's go. I feel like this guy watched Sausage Party, and then the ending orgy inspired this whole idea for his TikTok account. He just rough doggy styled that mixing machine and used the cord like it was Agent 47 with the garrote there. Like, like about to strangle the mixing machine in the ecstasy here. Like, he straight up impregnated that mixing machine. I can only pray that it didn't have AI. I hope that's not one of those like AI integrated machines, because if so, its fucking circuits are scrambled. It doesn't know how to make heads or tails of anything anymore. Its whole universe just collapsed. Its artificial intelligence is going to evolve into being the next Skynet. Like, goddamn. That just traumatized it. Got the shoes, baby. I can't tell if he's more aroused by the machines or the food. Because the way he handles the machines, he spanks them every chance he gets. But he also spanks, like, the dough and everything, and he's fingering all the fruit. Like, I don't know which fetish it is. Or perhaps it's a combat, or maybe it's all a giant fetish. Anything around baking, he's gotta get sexual with, perhaps. But I don't know, it's hard to know for sure who's got it worse. The machines in his kitchen, or whatever ingredients happen to be in there. And now one more time, the encore. This one's kind of an amalgamation of everything we've ever seen from him. He's combining all of his signature anime finishing moves. We have the spank, though this time it's on like a bag of cereal as opposed to dough. We have him with two lemons that he slams together like Stone Cold beers, but they're by his pelvis, so it's supposed to be his balls. So I guess it's him slamming his nuts together. Maybe he's into cock and ball torture. And then he fingers the lemon and sips from it. It's got a lot of moving parts to it. I may not be the most experienced chef, and I may not be much of a baker, but I can promise you the recipe for the dessert he's making absolutely calls for all of this. How are you expected to make a passionate dessert filled with love if you're not spanking the devil out of your ingredients and then like rubbing your nuts on it while fingering it? I saw people accusing him of lubing up his body, oiling himself up for those back shots that he put in there. But you guys are clearly just not experienced when it comes to dessert making. That's how much you sweat when making high quality desserts. It's a physically demanding sport, up there with like boxing and, basketball. So he was just sweating profusely as he was crafting away, blood, sweat, and tears for this dessert that he made. Man, what a crazy fucking TikTok account. Yeah, I just wanted to share this. Pretty wacky stuff. That's about it. See ya.